just a quick map. All right, I made a mistake at the very beginning of that, talking about, oh, it very well could be Leenock Man. Our GSL Zerg is going for a 6 pool.
Look at that, wow.
It's in Tomb Valley, don't blame him. But of course at the top left we have our Kesper Protoss. I mistakenly said that the Kesper player would feel uncomfortable on this map, but that is not the case. This is a Protoss Kesper player. He's going to feel pretty good here. And even though some Kesper Protosses are not as experienced as StarCraft 2, I'm sure they've heard all about Tomb Valley. They've played on it enough to know how it's done.
Does he? Where does he send the probe? There are a few players who will actually send the probe across.
He's not, though. He's skipped the watchtower. He's going left first.
Most people go for one of the corners, but there are a couple who will actually scout cross.
I cross first, always. Because if there's any weird SCV or probe or zealot going across, I mean, or drone going across, and you hit the watchtower.
It's Moon.
Maybe.
Moon tried the strategy on this map in the last GSTL match that Fnatic played. So we have the 6 pull. By the way, I just got the confirmation on Twitter. Someone told me that apparently Ace confirmed that he was playing last week.
Okay.
And a couple of other people on Twitter immediately suggested that this Starthill player that we currently have waiting in the final, that he is Ace because of the meta next that we had. So guys, if you have any suspicions, you can of course always tweet at us and we can have a look at that later on.
Yeah, tweet at us at ProxyWolf and at Caldor. Tell us what you think. If you have predictions or anything, yeah, he's heading out right away. Now, he actually has scouted this, but he's going to have to be very careful. Even though he started his pylon in his main base, we may just have this transition into a normal game.
Just to make one thing clear, guys, because of the scouting, look how the Zerg scouted. He has not scouted the bottom left, he has scouted the top right. He takes a gamble here. This is why he does not heavily commit with additional Zerglings. He's already going for a follow-up. And of course, the cannon has to be built in the main base, because as a Protoss, if you're facing this type of strategy, you cannot hold the wall in. This is barely possible. You can, if you're lucky and you use your probes like perfectly, but it's very risky. So the normal transition is the cannon in the main base, and very well played here by our Protoss player starting for the Kesper team. The cannon will be up. He does not lose any probes so far. He will of course lose the low ground buildings. Nice, trapping a Zergling here.
Yeah,
very well done so far by the Kesper Protoss.
And now he's just going to go kill the pylon and then the forge. No, you go for pylon first so that you can force your opponent to make another pylon. Otherwise, he can just continue to make probes comfortably. He's not going to need a second cannon. Then you kill the forge. And notice that he put the cannon close to one of the geysers, one of the assimilators. This is very important because some newer players may not know this, but when you're trying to learn how to forge fast expand, if you do face a 6 pull, always place your cannon slightly towards one of the assimilators. That way you can protect the assimilator as it's warping in against the Zerglings, because before your gateway is done, if he just goes around the side out of range of your cannon, you'll never get that assimilator up. So you want to put the cannon next to one of those assimilators.
One of the things that we currently are experiencing is that the Zerg player is of course way behind in Harvesters. He's at 13 against 22. Not much damage done by the Zerg, but he is in a position where he knows that his opponent has his units very late on this map. He knows about every kind of tech that's happening. So he can expand. He already chased the one probe away that the Protoss player still had. But in regards to his economy, he is way behind it. This is very dangerous for a Zerg player, so he has to know exactly what's going on here.
And look at this, notice that even though he has the cannon on one side, his pylon is a little bit vulnerable, so the Zerglings are trying to do what they can. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to. This assimilator will not be protected. He's going to have to use that zealot to protect it. And that's going to be, 4 Zerglings can kill a zealot, so if he gets that zealot too far out of the boundaries of the cannon, he may lose it. And actually, he's probably going to lose it here.
Oh, this is bad. This is... Oh, wow, nice. He's able to sneak the zealot past the Zerglings. Well done here. But the important part really is that our Zerg is now able to see everything, and what he is going to do is he will just drone up like a madman. He will not build a single unit up to the point that he really has to, because for him it's really important to not only catch up in the drone count, but he wants more harvesters than his opponent.
Nice micro, by the way, by our Kesper Protoss, trying to keep the Zealot alive. He may almost keeps it alive, but he was very cost efficient with it, taking out almost all of those Zerglings.
Not only is micro, I love how he approaches this. Look, he's already expanding right now. So if you... the problem is... There's just talking about it for a second. If you have to go back into your main base. You have to place down a cannon. You lose everything at the front, so you think about what exactly can I do right now. I know that I didn't lose too many probes. I'm ahead in economy. Do I go for a 4-gate? Do I try to go, for example, for a Dark Shrine? Do I go for some kind of Stargate opening? If you have a probe on the map, you can't just hide your tech somewhere. You can go for a couple of Void Rays, you can proxy them, you can go for a Dark Shrine, you can go for a gateway attack, but he's actually just going to expand. He knows that with 2 Zealots he's already able to chase the Zerglings away. He chases them down, uses the probes, and immediately starts with his wall off, starts with the expansion, and now has one of his sentries in, not only in production, but already one on the map, so that he's safe against an attack. So these timings that he's using here, they are perfect. They are spot on.
They are pretty impressive. I like the amount of scouting that we're seeing from both players as well. Right now the Stalker goes and checks for the Zerg's third. The Zerg was very aggressive with that extra Zergling he had. Got up, not only saw the Nexus, but the additional gateways. He's going fast there, and that's exactly what our Protoss player from the Kesper player is really looking to do here.
One of the things, by the way, quick shout out to Mega Kenny, who just tweeted me and he told us one thing that is actually really true, because he could also be a former Xenix player. They merged with StarTale, so this is actually also possible. I didn't even think about that earlier.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. That's actually...
Just talking about the last game where we just got the information that the winning player of the Protoss was a StarTale player, but this could basically also mean that he was a former Xenix player.
Yeah, it could be Xenix Stream, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
That's...
pretty good point.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I had not considered that. Zerg is getting a third right now, as well as Infestation Pit, and the Hallucination will scout this quite soon. As soon as he gets those Hallucinate Phoenixes out, he's going to get as much information as he can. The Stalker will likely be chased down as Speed is about to finish.
And to talk a little bit about the state of the game. Nice catch here, by the way. Well done. The Stalker goes down. But to talk a bit about the state of the game. We have 50 Harvesters for the GSL Zerg. We have 47 probes for the Kesper Protoss player. And of course now, as you could see just seconds ago on the production tab, the Infestation Pit for the Zerg with the transition. He's on 2 bases and is trying to get the third right now, whereas our Protoss is currently transitioning straight into the Twilight Council, gets the robotics as well. And it starts to look pretty good for the Zerg player. If he gets this third, maybe even squeezes out another bunch of drones, he will be in a good position. The tech is the scariest part if you try to go for a transition after you started with a 6-play.
Yeah, and if you go for fast infestors and your opponent hits with a Colossus timing off 2 bases very quickly, that can be something that's problematic for you. But if he goes for a third base or if he goes for a gateway timing attack, usually you're going to feel pretty comfortable. So the choice of our Protoss, his next move, what was it going to be? Is he going to get the Erotic Support Bay as soon as this Robo finishes? If so, then our GSL player could be in trouble. But that's going to be a choice we're going to find out very soon. It looks like he wants to take a third base as he has broken the rocks. He's going to clean up that Zergling right now. And if he just takes that third base, then this is actually going to be a position where our GSL Zerg definitely can recover. And there's the Nexus going down. So he absolutely can recover. We're getting a Robotic Support Bay as well.
As soon as he knows... Oh, there it is. I was just about to say, as soon as he knows that there's the third base and he spots everything with the Zerglings, then he should definitely go for another bunch of drones, because he was a little bit low. He was only at 60, but he has a few units on the map. He doesn't actually know about the third base, but he knows that there are no rocks.
Yeah,
so
and
this is a pretty good indicator.
The Ling that was to spot for the third was taken out by a group of Stalkers, so it's going to be pretty clear what's going on. I'm not sure how much I like this Infestor attack. This is something we see a lot of GSL players do, as well as foreigners. It's very common. Right now, he's got 5 Infestors with that energy upgrade coming out here, so they're almost at full energy. But the defense is already set up. He's got an additional cannon added. At the naturally, he's added one at the third base as well. He's got so many sentries to help force field these units out.
This is a pretty high Infestor count, by the way. He's at 8, has 9 Infestor, a Ling, and the transition into Spire.
And see how much he wants to commit to this. So it looks like he's going to go back. This is actually kind of cool the way he sat there. The Observer saw it. I think he may have been trying to force some additional cannons. And also, if anyone tries to move out when you have that many Infestors, you just fungal them on the ramp and escape. So that was pretty cool. Just continuing to check with the Zerglings right now. Wants to see if the Frost is moving out. And 4th base going up. As you said, the Spire is on the way with the Hive coming out here. It looks like it's going to be just for Corruptors and Broodlords. Pretty normal timing there. +2 attack on the way for our Kespa player, and it's almost done. He doesn't look like he wants to hit a timing. He's just continuing to get his upgrades, doing double upgrades, in fact, and he is going to have to be careful of those Broodlords.
If you look at the game now and think about the fact that it started with the 6 pool, we currently have an 86 drone count for the Zerg. We have 67 probes for his opponent. So this is a pretty decent macro game considering that we started with the 6 pool. And our Zerg is now getting his 4th base. The hive tech is nearly done. And he's in a great position here. He has great upgrade. Well, he has decent upgrades. And he has a very, very good tech, so I'm a bit scared about how our Protoss player could actually try to take this game. He needs to push out and take a 4th.
He's being a little bit passive right now.
He needs to get more... Well, okay, he's on 70 probes, that's okay.
He needs to hit a timing here if he's not going to take a 4th base, and he is adding a few gateways right now. He's going to possibly just move out and try to attack with this army that he has got right now, but I'm not sure if this is going to be enough with the Infestor count where it is right now. 8 Corruptors coming out as well.
The other thing is, if he really wants to, and he takes the 4th, if he really wants to take the 4th, another thing that he has to do is already start with his Stargate.
Yes.
He needs to, oh, he's going for the Twilight, sorry, the Templar Archive here. Does not have any scout to kill the... Oh, there's the drop play, by the way, going onto the left side of the map. The 4th is still blocked by a Borrowed Zergling, and here comes the drop into the main base. Nice reaction here by our Caspar Protoss.
Yeah, pulling his probes right away. The Stalkers are going to want to get in here. They do not have Blink.
He's trying to snipe the Nexus, and I think he will be able to do it.
Yeah, a lot of hesitation, and he definitely will get it. Ah! Oh my god.
Are you serious with 10? Oh, wow. He saves it. Well, 10 hit points.
The 3rd base is still being denied, and our 4th base, and he's got another 10 Zerglings to drop. He actually may just get it. Here we go.
Oh, and it dies. Wow.
Wow, and not only that,
he burrows one.
He burrows. He's forced 3 more cannons. This is actually great for a GSL player.
I can't believe this just happened. He drops, surrounds the Nexus, tries to kill it, 10 hit points left, and then he moves in. And now he triggered an attack because our Protoss knows exactly that at this point in time, he is basically already dead. He has to attack. Coming back, if he doesn't deal any damage right now, the Zerg player will be so far ahead against the Protoss mining from 2 bases, while you have 4. You have the higher drone count. He will be in such a great position, so he needs to do some damage now if he wants to make sure that the Zerg is not getting miles ahead of him.
He's about to have 9 Brutes.
Exactly, attacking into this many Infestors, into the Brute Lords as well, usually doesn't end well for the Protoss.
No, it does not. All of his Zealots getting trapped here. He's setting up a concave with these Lings coming from the side, and he caught some Archons there, but Archons are not something you usually want to catch with Lings, but there's not enough anti-air here. And this game is actually practically over at this point. Protoss is rebuilding his Nexus at an almost mined out natural, has not started a Nexus at his 3rd base, and our GSL Zerg is actually pretty much sealed the deal. He's just going to continue to build up his army back up to max, continue to spread some creep, and get ready to attack again. There's no Stargate. Blink is only 3/4 of the way done. He's not even done with that, so he is in a tough spot right now.
He really is. We've seen crazy comebacks in the past, but right now, with the income that the Zerg has, he could probably... he should actually take a 5th min at this point. He's about to be mined out in his main base, so getting another base so that he has a good saturation on all his mining bases would be a good thing. But with all this tech that he has, he is in such a good spot. We don't have a Stargate for his opponent, so there is no Mothership, there are there's not
Void Rays,
not a single Archon exactly. He doesn't have anything against these Brute Lords, and this is a big problem.
Yeah, his Stalker count is only at 25.
Blink.
No, Blink is not done yet. It's almost done, but he's only got 25 Stalkers. That's not enough. With this many Infestors with the Link support, he needs more. He's making 6 more, but the Ultralisk transition is already underway. He may not even need those, but he has the flexibility here.
The only reason why the Protoss is still alive is because the Zerg is very cautious here and can probably not believe his luck. He's expecting Mothership to appear, some kind of Archon. That's why he approaches this very cautious. But with what he has, he can take this.
He can, and he's going to try to drop in some Infested Terrans here. The Fungals are good, the Stalkers blink in, but there's just not enough of them.
The supply was even for a second, but now those Brood Lords go to town. A nice blink with the Stalkers once again, sniping the Brood Lords one by one, but there are just too many of them. And the Colossi is already gone. The supply drops for the GSL, sorry, not for the GSL Protoss, but for the Caspar Protoss, as he drops below 100. Doubling the supply is our GSL Zerg now, and he is going to finish this and finish it quick. Nice.
Look at the transfuses, keeping that Broodlord alive forever, well, until it just died, but it just doesn't matter. A lot of passivity from our Kespa. Protoss, after scouting what was going on early on, did not follow up with an attack, had a very late fourth, no transition, no preparation for the Broodlords. 5 Ultras on the way to finish this up, but I don't think they're going to be necessary.
No.
And this game is over, man. We are having our GSL Zerg take game 1.
And he already expanded 3 times again, just because he knows he can and he wants to make sure that this game is not, not lost in the end.
GG.
So there's the GG, and yeah.
You know, you mentioned he was going to be very cautious against Mothership play, and that's very normal, and that makes a lot of sense. But also, one other thing to be critical of in that game was his creep spread was a little bit lacking. You know, his creep wasn't even near the Watchtower. He never felt any pressure, so he could have done more with that. But everything else he did, his timings were flawless. His transition to the Infestors and how he used them was really nice. I loved his baiting tactic where he sends the Infestor to the front, he shows them several times and doesn't attack. He's trying to scare the Protoss a little bit.
The 6-pool opening is, by the way, very, very cool when you play against a Kespa player, because if you use this against a GSL Protoss, he will have faced this strategy so many times that he knows exactly what to do. He knows exactly what kinds of timing to use and how to transition. But the chances are pretty high that a Kespa player who does not have that much experience with StarCraft 2 yet will not have faced the 6-pool on a map like this often.
Yeah.
So he might make a mistake or two when he transitions or just react the wrong way. I can actually remember that roughly 6 months ago or 4 months ago. What month do we have?
Right now we're in July.
Roughly 6 months ago, a lot of foreign players were just trying to figure out how to react against the 6-pool. The Protoss players, they wrote down the timings. I was actually at the GOM house when Naniwa and Todd talked about timings against 6-pools, what they had to do. And shortly afterwards, Naniwa played at MLG against Nest-T, who tried to use a 6-pool and knew exactly how to react to it and won the game. So they definitely know how to do that. But if you don't have this much experience in StarCraft 2, you might make a slight mistake here. And this was basically what he was hoping for. The
way he transitioned out of the 6-pool as well is pretty textbook. I mean, right now I would say the 6-pool is actually pretty much a legitimate build to do. Like, I would say that there are a lot of follow-ups to it. And as a Protoss, you feel really uncomfortable because you have to make the choice. Do I do the several things you mentioned? Go for a 4 gateway attack, hide a Stargate, hide a Dark Templar, you know, go for Dark Templar. That's a kind of a tough choice to make. Or do you expand because the Zerglings may not end there. They can deny your scouting. He may even go for a Baneling attack afterwards.
Pressure play with gateways, in my opinion, is what you really can do here, because the Zerg play will never have the production that he needs to drone up and get the army as well. So I think this, if you hit a good timing with gateways, then you usually can do a lot of damage here. But well, before we get, well, actually not before, we don't have a break, we go into game number 1 right away. This map is Daybreak.